The cameras flashed. The crowd, they just froze. And just like that, Hollywood had a brand new obsession.
Oh, absolutely. The internet just instantly caught fire.
Welcome to Starscope Report. Join us as we uncover Hollywood drama, music industry shakeups, and viral influencer scandals.
From red carpet surprises to massive social media controversies, we dive deep into the stories behind the fame.
And today's deep dive is, well, it's a wild one. We are looking at a headline that has basically taken over the world. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce spark fresh marriage speculation with new photos.
Yeah, those photos. Everyone is talking about them.
Right. But to understand those new photos, we have to talk about the main event. Picture this. You are standing outside the most heavily guarded, highly anticipated wedding of the year.
Or maybe the decade.
Honestly, yeah, the decade. It's the kind of event where A-list guests have their phones literally confiscated into locked pouches the second their black cars pull up to the curb.
Which, never happens with this crowd.
Never. Strict, multi-million-dollar non-disclosure agreements have been signed by every single vendor. Security is tighter than a bank vault. We're talking union workers being aggressively escorted off the floor just for hovering a little too close with a smartwatch.
Just a smartwatch. It's wild.
The lockdown is absolute, and yet just hours after the vows are exchanged, perfect high-resolution photos of the bride and groom are spreading like wildfire to millions of people online.
Millions.
How is that even possible? Well, because none of it was real.
Which is just terrifying when you really think about it.
It really is. And as we dig into our massive stack of sources today, we've got sports media, fashion magazines, gemologists, and even a tech platform analyzing the wedding industry.
We are pulling from everywhere for this one.
We are. Because our mission today is to unpack the reality versus the spectacle of this whole Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce wedding saga. It didn't just break the internet. It exposed a massive flaw in how we all perceive reality.
It's the ultimate modern paradox, right? You create an event so aggressively private that the internet simply hallucinates its own version of it to fill the void.
Exactly. But let's start from the moment this whole aesthetic was set into motion, which actually happened months before a single AI image was ever generated.
Right, the engagement.
Yeah. So they got engaged in August 2025, supposedly in the backyard of their Kansas City home, completely off the grid.
Very quiet, very low-key.
Right. And the public didn't get a look at the ring until the iHeartRadio Music Awards, which was on March 26, 2026.
Oh, man, that red carpet debut.
The moment that ring hit the cameras, jewelry experts just lost their minds, because it completely defied every modern expectation of what a celebrity engagement ring is actually supposed to look like.
Oh, completely. The industry was bracing for a flawless, 15-karat laser-cut emerald stone on an icy platinum band.
Like the classic Kardashian style.
Yeah, exactly. The kind of ring that looks like it was engineered in a laboratory just to blind the paparazzi. But instead, what debuted on her finger was designed by Kindred Lubeck of Artifacts Fine Jewelry in New York.
Which is a brilliant choice, by the way.
So brilliant. It's an 18-karat yellow gold band covered in this delicate hand engraving, holding this massive center diamond that has left gemologists completely unable to agree on its size.
Yeah, I was reading the reports, and the estimates are wildly all over the map. Variety and TMZ had sources saying different things. Some experts say it's 7 carats. Others swear it's pushing 15.
It's a huge gap.
It is. And the valuations are ping-ponging between $550,000 and well over $1 million. How can the leading experts in the world look at the most photographed hand on the planet and have absolutely no consensus on the specs?
Well, it's because of the specific cut of the stone. It's not a standard modern brilliant cut. It is an old mine brilliant cut.
An old mine cut.
Yeah. And to give you some context on why that throws off all the math, you really have to look at the history of how humans shape diamonds.
So an old mine cut dates back to what, like the 1700s and 1800s?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Long before computer modeling or laser precision. Before we had the technology to calculate the absolute optimal angle for light refraction, diamond cutters just worked by hand.
Wow.
Yeah, they followed the natural shape of the rough stone. So an old mine cut has a smaller table, which is that flat surface on the very top of the diamond, and a much deeper pavilion, which is the bottom half that comes to a point.
Okay, so it's chunkier.
Right. Because of those deeper, blockier proportions, the weight is distributed completely differently than a modern stone. A 10-carat old mine cut might look way smaller from the top down than a 10-carat modern cut, which is why the visual estimates are just so drastically different.
Wait, but isn't that an enormous risk? I mean, you're Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
You know every high-definition paparazzi camera on the planet is going to be analyzing this ring. Modern cameras highlight every single flaw.
Every single one.
So why would anyone with limitless resources use an imperfect antique-style diamond over a mathematically flawless modern stone?
Because, honestly, for someone who has built an entire empire on storytelling, mathematical perfection just isn't the goal. Nostalgia is.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
Right. A modern laser-cut diamond is designed to bounce light straight back up into, like, a fluorescent bulb. But in the 1700s, these old mine stones were quite literally designed to sparkle under candlelight. They catch light at low, really warm angles.
So it's essentially a rebellion against the HD era.
Exactly.
We spent the last 20 years obsessed with 4K with... Sterile.
Very sterile.
A modern diamond is like the harsh, blinding brightness of an LED bulb. But this old mine cut is like the warm, flickering, slightly unpredictable glow of a candle.
That is exactly the aesthetic she was anchoring. She didn't want a showroom piece that just screams contemporary wealth. She wanted an heirloom.
Yeah, heirloom piece.
And if we look at the immediate ripple effect across the jewelry industry, this single choice is fundamentally shifting global trends in 2026.
It really is.
Jewelers are reporting a massive spike in demand for warm yellow gold and vintage hand-cut stones. Consumers are abandoning that icy, perfect platinum look. They want the imperfections. They want the history.
It's the folklore of diamonds.
Oh, perfect way to put it.
Right. But there's an incredible friction between that desire for a quiet heirloom aesthetic and what they actually did next.
Oh, boy.
Because if the ring whispered intimacy, the venue they chose for the July 3rd wedding screamed absolute spectacle.
Spectacle is almost an understatement.
Totally. Travis Kelce had previously mentioned it was a, quote, childhood dream to get married at the mecca of all sports venues. So naturally, they booked Madison Square Garden.
Right, during a suffocating 100-degree New York City heat wave.
Which he publicly thanked the MSG owners for, by the way. He noted they kept the AC, quote, cupping inside the arena.
Thank goodness for that.
But let's pause and look at the sheer logistics of pulling off an event dubbed America's Royal Wedding at MSG.
It's staggering.
We are talking about Christian Dior Haute Couture, designed by Jonathan Anderson, custom Louboutin shoes, Cartier jewelry.
All the heavy hitters.
And then you have Adam Sandler officiating.
Still my favorite detail.
So good. Austin Swift as the man of honor, Jason Kelce as best man. But the guest list, I mean, putting 1,000 of the most recognizable faces on Earth in a single room.
Just think about the power in that room.
Jennifer Lopez, Tom Brady, Julia Roberts, Brad Pitt. The security apparatus alone must have been an absolute nightmare.
It was a military-grade operation. According to the reports we looked at, they paid the city of New York $160,000 just to cover the external security footprint and Midtown Manhattan street closures.
That is just for the streets.
Exactly. But the internal security is where things get really fascinating. I mean, how do you actually enforce a phone ban on 1,000 people whose entire lives and careers revolve around their phones?
I was reading about this. It wasn't just like a polite request on the invitation.
No, not at all.
They employed specialized signal jamming technology in certain corridors.
Which is highly illegal for normal people to do, by the way.
Right. They had dedicated teams doing physical sweeps for hidden lenses. Even the union workers who built the stage and arranged the florals were heavily monitored.
It was intense.
To the point where someone was supposedly escorted off the floor just for moving their wrists the wrong way with a smartwatch.
Which brings us to the central paradox of this entire event.
The fact that they booked a 20,000-seat arena for a private dinner.
Yeah.
It makes absolutely no sense to me. It is like renting out the Roman Colosseum just to host a family barbecue.
That's a great analogy.
Right. Why go to the most famous, heavily photographed, massive public venue imaginable just to lock the doors, tape over the windows, and hide it from the world?
Because it is the ultimate flex of modern fame.
Really?
Oh yeah, we can call it the privatization of the public square. You know, for a normal celebrity, luxury is renting a beautiful, secluded villa in Lake Como where no one can find you.
Sure, very classic.
But for a billionaire pop star and a Super Bowl champion, Luxury is buying the right to erase a major cultural landmark from the public eye for an entire night.
Wow.
They needed an arena because their social circle and the sheer physical security required the square footage of an arena. But by enforcing the NDAs and the phone bans, they were asserting total control.
They were making a statement.
Exactly. They were saying, we can occupy the most famous stage in the world, and you only get to see what we allow you to see.
If you're loving these Hollywood twists, make sure you subscribe. We've got even crazier stories ahead in this deep dive.
You definitely want to stick around.
Because it's algorithmic economics, really. By enforcing that lockdown, the supply of real photos was artificially kept at absolute zero. But the public demand for visual evidence of this wedding was arguably at an all-time high.
Higher than the Super Bowl, arguably.
And as we know, nature abhors a vacuum, and so does social media.
Oh, absolutely. When you create a vacuum of information that massive, you create a black market. And in 2026, the black market supplier is artificial intelligence.
Enter the AI crashers.
Here they come.
Because there were zero real photos leaking from inside MSG, generative AI simply stepped in and did the job.
Within hours.
Almost immediately. These stunning high-resolution images of Swift in a Dior gown and Kelce in a sharp navy suit flooded X, Instagram, and TikTok.
They were everywhere.
And they were flawless at first glance. Millions of people were sharing them, liking them, commenting on the lace detailing of the dress. The public totally bought it.
It triggered absolute digital chaos. I mean, the images were moving so fast through the algorithms that traditional media outlets were struggling to verify them in real time.
They couldn't keep up.
No. It wasn't until Snopes and, crucially, music video director Jasif Khan, who was actually sitting inside the wedding, publicly stepped in to confirm that the photos were 100% fabricated.
But if you stopped and looked closely, the tells were there. The tech article we pulled from Wedding Sauce pointed out that some of the images actually contained OpenAI Synthly watermarks.
Yes. And for those unfamiliar, Synthly isn't like a visible logo stamped in the corner of the image.
Right, it's hidden.
It is an invisible digital marker baked directly into the pixel arrangement. To the human eye, the image looks like a standard photograph. But when a software program scans the pixels, it immediately recognizes the synthetic pattern and flags it as AI generated.
But that's the problem. Think about how fast you scroll TikTok or Instagram on your daily commute.
Oh, it's rapid fire.
When you see a beautiful image of a bride in a white dress, your brain doesn't stop to run a software analysis on the pixel arrangement.
Of course not.
You don't zoom in to see if the background architecture is slightly warped or if the groom has an extra knuckle on his left hand.
Or six finger.
Exactly. You just double tap, feel a fleeting sense of awe, and move on to the next video.
Which is exactly what the Wedding Sauce article argues is the real crisis here. This isn't just about a celebrity wedding. It exposed a massive vulnerability in human trust.
It really did.
The premise is chilling. If AI can flawlessly fake the most heavily guarded, highly anticipated event of the decade in a matter of hours and convince millions of people it actually happened, how do we ever know what's real anymore?
It's like a digital mirage in the desert. The public was so thirsty for visuals that they willingly drank the sand.
Wow, that is exactly it.
But it makes me wonder if the fake photos deliver exactly what we expected to see, the beautiful couture dress, the happy couple, the romantic lighting. Does the public even care about the truth? Or are we just totally satisfied consuming the synthetic content?
That is the defining question for society moving forward. And the consensus from the tech community is that people do care deeply about the truth, but we are rapidly losing the biological tools to differentiate reality from the illusion.
We just can't see it anymore.
Right. This incident proves a new reality for you, for me, and for the entire digital ecosystem. In a world completely saturated with perfect deepfakes, actual verifiable human presence is becoming the most valuable currency we have.
The article highlighted platforms like iSpire and Telsey, which are already trying to solve this.
Yeah, they are doing some interesting work.
They are building systems to authenticate real wedding vendors with a verified, chain of custody.
A chain of custody for reality. It's brilliant, really, because an AI can generate a photorealistic image of a floral arrangement in 3 seconds, but it cannot deliver actual flowers.
Right.
It can't produce a florist's delivery log. It can't capture the unscripted, blurry, perfectly imperfect laugh of a grandmother during the vows. As digital illusions become mathematically flawless, the premium completely shifts back to physical reality.
The physical proof.
Exactly. The ultimate proof of an event is no longer the photograph. photograph. It's the verified presence of the people who are actually in the room.
Stay tuned and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next, because later in the deep dive, we're going to talk about how Taylor and Travis actually fought back against us.
Oh, this is the best part.
Because how do you fight back against a flawless digital illusion that has already hijacked the global narrative of your wedding?
It's tough.
You don't try to out-internet the internet. You don't release a high-res, perfectly retouched official gallery to combat the fake ones.
No, that would just feed the beast.
You just go back to the real world. Which brings us right back to our headline, the new photos that sparked fresh speculation.
The subtle debut. It was a masterclass in PR and narrative control.
It really was. Just 1 week after the multi-million-dollar MSG spectacle, Swift was spotted out in California at the wedding of Travis's former teammate, Juju Smith-Schuster.
Just a normal guest at a wedding.
Right. There's no grand announcement. She's just wearing a pink floral Marcarian gown. And there it is, her vintage diamond engagement ring casually stacked with a brand new, delicate gold wedding band.
Sneaky.
She also threw on a Cartier Love Unlimited bangle, just quietly existing at a friend's wedding, letting the paparazzi snap a casual photo.
And Travis executed the exact same strategy a few weeks later.
August 15th, Arrowhead Stadium. It's a sweaty Chiefs preseason game.
Oh, the contrast is amazing.
He hops out of a golf cart, wearing a black and orange tie-dye outfit, some sunglasses, and he just flashes this thick gold wedding band for the sports cameras.
It's so casual.
And when the NFL reporters finally cornered him during training camp and asked about the wedding, his response was incredible.
A classic Travis.
He grinned, acknowledged it was the, quote, best night of my life, said it was a crazy night of celebration, and then immediately clapped his hands, pivoted, and said, football, baby.
Football, baby.
Yeah.
You cannot artificially generate that kind of grounded human pivot.
I love the total whiplash of this transition. You go from a literal fortress at Madison Square Garden, draped in Christian Dior haute couture, fighting off AI deepfakes, straight into wearing a tie-dye t-shirt at a hot preseason football game.
It is such a jarring contrast.
It really is.
But the contrast is precisely the mechanism that makes the PR strategy work. If they had released a glossy magazine spread, it would have just felt like more content to be consumed and scrutinized alongside the AI fakes.
People would have just picked it apart.
Exactly. By quietly showing off the rings in incredibly mundane, everyday settings, attending a friend's wedding, walking into a locker room, sweating at a training camp, they yanked the narrative entirely away from the algorithms.
They took back control.
They reminded the public that beneath all the hype, the digital frenzy, and the synthetic pixels, there is a tangible, physical, human relationship. You can fake a glamorous wedding photo, but you can't fake a guy in tie-dye getting ready for football season.
Let's pull all these threads together because the overarching theme here is just wild.
Yeah.
We started with an engagement ring that actively rejected the modern obsession with high-definition perfection.
The old mind cut.
Right. By choosing a vintage cut designed for candlelight, she anchored a narrative of history and warmth, a choice that physically altered the global jewelry supply chain and brought yellow gold back to the forefront.
Then we watched them scale that desire for intimacy up to an almost contradictory level, executing the ultimate privatization of the public square.
The MSG lockdown.
Yeah. They rented the biggest, most famous arena in the world, deployed a massive security apparatus, and locked the doors, proving that true power is deciding exactly what the public doesn't get to see.
And we saw the dangerous consequence of that information vacuum. The algorithmic economics took over, supply met demand via artificial intelligence, and we were suddenly drowning in terrifyingly convincing digital illusions.
It was a wake-up call.
It really forced the couple to bypass the internet entirely and ground their story back in the physical world with those subtle ring debuts.
It highlights a massive cultural shift that affects everyone, really. We are rapidly moving away from valuing the flawless display of a moment to fiercely protecting the authenticity of it.
Which leaves us with a truly fascinating thought to chew on as we wrap up. Think about the last 20 years of social media. The ultimate status symbol for any major life event was getting it published in Vogue, having the highest resolution photos, and broadcasting the absolute most perfect, curated version of your day to as many people as possible.
The visual proof was the luxury.
Exactly. But we are now entering an era where literally any luxurious moment, a sunset in Bali, a couture gown, a massive floral archway, can be perfectly generated by a teenager on a computer in 5 seconds.
For free.
Right. If the visual proof can be faked for free, it loses its value. So Will the ultimate status symbol of luxury no longer be the photos you post?
That is the million-dollar question.
Will true, unimaginable luxury simply be the ability to have a moment so private and so fiercely protected that it leaves absolutely no digital footprint at all?
It completely flips the paradigm. It's something to think about the next time you feel the urge to pull your camera out during a special moment. Are you capturing the reality, or are you just feeding the algorithm?
A great question to end on. You've been listening to Starscope Report, where Jordan and Jamie uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.